Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for June 5th through the 11th, 2023. So, as we start out this week's reading, I'd just like to, first of all, welcome everybody back. And also, if you happen to be new or come across my channel for the very first time, I welcome you as well. There have been a lot of video posted within the last probably 3 days. So, um, you know, I'll just clarify all of that for you in a few minutes. And just want you to be aware of what the content that has come out so you can check it out. The weekly readings are sort of our stable um, and longest running series. It's how I began. And then this week I posted the monthly general reading for June. So if you haven't checked out that energy report, please do. It's so critical, I think, and just really enlightening. And this is an important month. It feels so. Make sure you check that out. Um, and also, then I posted the monthly angel scopes, which are um, readings on the 12 zodiac signs. Okay. Well, that was a first to get a phone call, but it was from my brother, and nothing important. So, yes, I was just saying about the 12 zodiac, the angel scope, so the 12 zodiac signs. So, I've recorded one for each sign. So, that just came out yesterday. And so there's a lot of content to go through. But as I had mentioned in the general monthly reading, for those of you who've probably seen it, um, it was about the angels are focused on the energies that are coming through of unconditional love and tolerance and respect, that through this Gay Pride Month, and that's helping to shift us um, towards that new age of peace. So it's if you haven't checked all of them out, I would highly recommend that you do. And and also you can watch more than one as you feel called. If you know your moon sign or your and your rising sign as well as your sun sign. So your sun sign is the month that you were born. Um, and if you go to one of these astrological websites, you can kind of put in your information and it'll tell you what your moon sign is and your rising sign is. And so, like, for example, my moon is in Scorpio and my rising sign is in Aquarius, but my sun sign is Pisces. So, yeah, so feel free to check them out, or you um, can just ask your angels if there's an additional message that you need to hear from a different zodiac sign. And also, just want to remind you, if you haven't yet subscribed, to make sure you do that. Select the all notification and dislike, leave your comments. Those have been really pouring in, and um, the energy and expression that they're writing in front of me right now, it's just adding more, and they're writing coverage. So, each and every one of you, um, just know that you have something to add, and that the universe sees that and appreciates that. And then, if you'd like to get an angel reading with me during the course of watching this video, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services. And if you're would like to, if you're a first-time client, you can select the first-time promotional offer there. Also, if you just like to support the channel and me in this work, I have a PayPal me link where you can just make a donation of any um, kind, and just know that no matter what it is, um, it is deeply appreciated. Okay, so, and I'll be putting links. So to the general monthly reading, the link will be there, and the link to my website and the PayPal me is all below as well. So let's now take a deep breath. Just tune into the energy for this week, June 5th through the 11th, 2023. And this is very interesting. So they're showing me a tree with a trunk that is not very wide at all, but the branches and the but the interesting thing is that the trunk of the tree, where they're bringing me closer to it, they would give me a faraway view. So the trunk of the tree is very thick, but the height of the trunk is short, and the branches, they were trying to give me the sense of how wide the branches and the foliage of the tree is, and and that it's so close to the earth. Now, what that tells me, and I can see the third eye, but what that tells me, well, first of all, the branches and the foliage represents your higher consciousness, your I am presence, and the enormous information, the leaves, the foliage represents all the information that's there. Um, they're writing the word love, but I'm going to come back to that. And so the thing is that the branches and this information is so close to the ground. It really just sort of impacts how profound the types of messages and the clarity, the connection, the closeness in connection that you're going to really feel with your I am presence and with the universe. So this is going to really sort of activate your and impact, they write the word impact, your intuition in a way that might um, create different types of responses depending on your spiritual practice, or the way the how in touch you are with your spiritual practice. So, for instance, first of all, I guess they want you to know that there's an enormous amount of love available to you right now, and that you're doing extraordinarily well under the circumstances. They show me a cross made from swords, um, and then they showed me a mushroom. Now, the mushroom is my symbol for either the fae and or abundance, prosperity. So then the swords as a cross. The cross is usually my sign for suffering or challenges, but that the cross is made out of swords instead of wood. Um, it's about, to me, that you have the tools to discern, to cut through the BS, for lack of a better word. um, and you have the tools of discernment to work with. And with the swords, um, it's that sense of, it makes me think of the Queen of Swords, in that um, you you're focused, not emotionally, but you're keeping your mind sharp, and you are using you're being extremely clear, and anything that's not clear in your life, that you are just severing that. You're not engaging it. You're not getting the drama. They keep writing the word joy. Right now, your focus is on what gives you joy. None of the, none of the other stuff. None of the BS. Right. And so as you do this, you help to cultivate the abundance that the universe is bringing towards you. Now, they just wrote the word express, and I guess what they're trying to say is express yourself honestly. So, with those swords, be honest. Be honest with yourself and be honest with others. So, this is not a week where you let somebody come in and replay their drama, and then you sit there and you just give them all your energy and time. They're writing the word efficiency. So it's either you're going to get to the point with people, right? Like just be upfront with them, be honest, tell it like it is, move on, right? Focus on the important factors. Like if somebody's just going all over the place, where you normally would just let them do that. No, focus them. Focus on the important factors, be honest, move on. They're also writing this about projects. If you have any particular projects that you're doing, whether they're personal or in your job, it's the same thing. It's about efficiency, and focusing on the important factors, not getting lost in all of, the what ifs, the what ifs, the what ifs. No, here are the important factors. Here's what we have. This is what we know we're working with. This is what we can do about it. You take this, if you do this, I'll do this kind of thing. Okay? If somebody's coming in your life with their drama, okay, here are the important factors. Here are the spiritual laws. This is whether you like it or not, this is what's going on. This is what you need to focus on. And they're writing the word alignment in terms of this is where are you most in alignment, or where do you find yourself aligned, because that's where your powers, your energy is best suited. And so focus there, let that other stuff go, focus there, and see how much progress you make. So efficiency is the word here. With your intuition and with this kind of all this information, um, you can have this kind of clarity. So practice being honest, open, transparent, and honest with yourself and honest with other people. Don't don't try to make room for things that you don't have time to make things room for. So if people engage you in their normal fashion, you say to them, look, I have about 10 minutes. Why don't you tell me what the important factors are, etc.? Establish the boundaries. You'll be happy, and they'll be happy because they'll get to what they are trying to say. And sometimes people take the long way around because they're afraid of how people are going to misunderstand them, right? So just let them know, hey, I'm here for you, but let's get to the point. All right, so let's take a look at the archangel that we're working with for this week. And it's Archangel Haniel. And we had this card within the last month or so. And it says, seek soul satisfaction, fan a flame of inner happiness. Okay? So she's looking at the moon, Archangel Haniel. She's known as the Archangel of the Moon. And there, the sense of this is, I know we're having a full moon in Sagittarius. So this sort of getting to the heart of the matter, um, being focused on truth is just going to be so important. And This is your opportunity to really focus on what gives you joy, what your soul. Remember I talked about the soul economy? What does your body need and what does your soul need to be fulfilled? This is where you need to be focused right now. And I don't know why they wrote the word surface, but it seems like some of you are on the surface of it, and that is not a bad thing. That means that if you're on the if you're you on the surface, you're aware. It means that you know where to go deeper. You know where to sort of go deeper into your purpose now. If you had any doubt about that, this is highlighting that to give you the green light to go deeper into that, to go deeper into what fulfills you. If you've been sort of straddling, whether or not you can really do this for yourself versus, being there for everybody else in the ways that you normally are, or taking an opportunity that's for yourself rather than others. This is most definitely important that you do so in this week. I don't know if this feels like that with the I am presence being so embodied within you in this week, that remember to focus on what your heart or your soul desires most for you. That the soul, the higher self, the universe always has the best and highest good of others in mind. But it might seem like for right now that you have to sort of make your vision the priority. And it's only because otherwise you wouldn't, and that which can benefit not only you and others would not happen otherwise. So I guess it's like this thing of selfishness. Don't get it confused, because when you're guided by your heart, there is no selfishness that the heart has at all, because the heart of God loves and cares for all of its creations. And so whenever it guides us to fulfill our soul's heart desire, then it is a mission that's going to be a benefit to many. It's the other thing, the ego selfishness, where it does everything out of fear and focuses and protects itself. And so when it really excludes everybody else's um, wants and needs. All right, let's take a look at the first card for the beginning of the week. All right, it's the Ace of Wands. And she's standing in the middle of a road. Isn't that interesting? And I'm just noticing the telephone lines there. And she's holding that sparkler, whatever you call those things. And it says, trust the magic of starting something new. And I just get a feeling about this is sort of a whole new road or a whole new avenue for you. And you're having trouble trusting, maybe because you're worried about the connections. Just look at the telephone wires above her head. Do you have enough connections to really support you and to help you to sort of expand this flame? I mean, she has a little fireworks she's holding. She has the fireworks within her, but she's wondering if she has big enough fireworks to make an impact. And will she gather more supporters to draw attention to the idea that she has to help it to really spread? And so this is where Archangel Haniel comes in, because right now, at this initial stage, you have you have the sparks in your heart and your soul, but you need to call upon her to fan the flames of this for you, so that those sparks fly off in other directions and catch on, light up other people and their attention towards what you're trying to do and accomplish. So know, in one respect, that all you need to do is to carry that flame, and you need to stay on that path to do it. And what you really need to focus upon is any decision, your choice, your free will choice is your power. It's your momentum forward. So this is why it's so important not to get distracted with other stuff. Focus on the factors, focus on the support, focus on the avenues that will bring you closer step by step to what you desire. And also remember, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So don't worry about how much progress you've made, but keep focusing on how much the quality of what you're doing, how much progress, how much that has expanded. Because the stronger the quality, you are going to automatically attract quality support and resources and avenues towards you. And it's sort of like, I don't know, this it feels like more like a sunset. And just keep in mind, that at the end of a day, to not focus on quantity, because that's an easy way to sort of diffuse your inner spark. Focus on quality. Focus on the impact, and know that you can make an impact at any level. So size doesn't matter. It's about getting it out there. Being in the field, doing the work, even if it's a small audience. But that impact that you make on that small audience, that is going to cause that flame to expand, because that small audience is going to take that flame with them and carry it out there. It's sort of the way, well, this is interesting. Jesus kind of giving me this sense of when he gave the disciples the message to go out into the world, right? And in his time and era, he was known. But what really caused him to be known, and this is just my opinion in this moment, is as the disciples went out, that expanded the message. So that's an example of how you don't have to do it all on your own right now. And in this case, we're inspired. You pick up the the idea, but you're not the only one that is responsible for getting that message out there. So you find whatever audience you get, no matter how small, by sharing, it moves forward. And with that, you and what you're doing, that information spreads. So I don't know, I just feel like the word grassroots is important to remember. All right, and we have, what is this? Oh, the Nine of Swords. And so the energy of the Nine of Swords is, one of letting yourself get so worked up that you start to create all kinds of scenarios that aren't even a reality yet, that you're pushing them. And it's interesting to see. It's like these roses and the swords and the roses of her head, and there's this distortion of the self here that you see, and all this eerie kind of stuff going on around. And so the card says anxiety is your imagination creating your fears. Anxiety is your imagination creating your fears. And what I like about this image is that the distortion of reality, the distortion of the true self, the higher self, the distortion of who you want to be. You're letting your fears create a whole nother you in terms it changes your attitude and your behavior, your perspective. It interferes with your confidence, your faith. And so you don't want to allow yourself to get all worked up. And usually it's because you're using your mind to, instead of you're using your allowing your mind to be this place where your intuition lays ideas of faith and inspiration. You're allowing your mind to become this sort of hell. And then by whatever goes into that mind is created, expanded, brought to fruition. And that might be because you're putting too much pressure on yourself. You're taking it all on yourself alone. You're not opening it up to others. So don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what it is that you do want. In Diana Cooper's book on A Little Light on the Spiritual Laws, she talks about, and it may be in the laws of affirmation, but it was interesting concept, that think of your mind as a computer that does not compute negative words. So if you tell yourself, I don't want this, then it takes out the negative word and says, I want this, and that's how it gets created. It's sort of like, it's almost like God created our consciousness to only create in the affirmative, meaning I am. But because we have free will, then the key is, what are you focused upon? That's what this computer computes. And so if I'm focused on something I don't want, that's what it computes. But if I as equally as if I focus on the things I want that satisfy me, not the things that create fear and anxiety within me, this is what it does. So it always just creates whatever is focused upon. But telling yourself, "Oh God, I hope this doesn't happen. Oh God, I hope this doesn't happen." And this, this and this and this, I don't want these to happen. And this and this and this and this, and I don't want this to happen. It takes out all those not words, no words, and puts it through as do this. So this is why surrender is so important, because otherwise you keep the mind computing. When you surrender, it's like telling the computer, it's like shutting it down or put it on sleep mode. And this is why meditation is so helpful, because it helps you to reset. But with surrender, you go deeper than just, okay, I'm going to just stop thinking about this. Surrender is acknowledging that process of worry is erroneous. By choosing to surrender, you also recognize the components of what you're doing that's erroneous. You're trying to manipulate. You're trying to manipulate things to go the way you want them to be, instead of trusting in the co creation of this, with the universe, trusting in your partners in the universe to orchestrate for you the best and highest good for not only you, but for everyone. And see, that's that ego self preservation. You got an idea, it has to go this way because what you're wanting is for everything to go your way and nobody else's. And you don't see that because the ego playing that game inside your mind distracts you from seeing that. If you could see that, you'd be like, oh my God, I don't want that. I don't want that to happen for me if that's going to happen to others. So when we surrender problems, we stop making them greater. Because trying to fix a problem is focused on the problem. So it's going through the computer, it's being input, and it's getting bigger, not better, but bigger, better. That's how better it's getting, bigger. And so when you surrender, you acknowledge that you don't know everything. And it's not possible for you to know everything because in this human experience, we only have part of the information. We only see facets of truth. And in order to really experience the full picture or the truth, we have to allow the assistance of the universe to expand our attention beyond the intention that we have in our limited view of things. And what it provides is a transcendent awareness, choice, and solutions that move us all forward in a very fulfilled way. All right, let's take a look at the card for the end of the weekend. I can't even see. It's so interesting. And then it's a 5. And it's a 5 of Cups. Okay? So it says grief is the shadow side of love. Grief is the shadow side of love. What comes to my mind right now is that you're going through some very important lessons. And lessons, as I probably described it in a reading at the end of the week, previous week, and sort of destiny and is involved with our spiritual lessons, these things that we set up that we wanted to accomplish before we incarnated, because we came back here to work through some stuff to do it better this time. Yesterday, when I was sitting in meditation, and a lot of people probably won't agree with this, but I was given this sense in total surrender. This is how it came to me, was that we don't even really need to do that. That somehow we keep perpetuating this belief that we've got to come back and fix what we've messed up. And in a way, this idea of karma and the setting out to plan out these lessons to work out here on the earth plane, and all of us having to come back lifetime after lifetime, that we set that up because we believe that the only way to heal or to be loved by God fully is to fix our problems. And what we really need to do is believe that God loves us. And I want to add no matter what, but I want to just have it be that first. We have to first believe that God loves us unconditionally. And that's what's so important about this month, because we, Gay Pride Month exists because a group of people, we have not been shown that unconditional love. But you got to remember that we've all been, every one that's, and what I mean by this, we've all been everything that we keep fighting about, or that we keep dishonoring or disrespecting. I'm African American. I've been a white person in another. I mean, this is how it is. I've probably been a racist in one of those lifetimes, because that's how it is. We all go through, have been through every human experience that any of us have ever created. We've all lived, every soul has been through all of the errors that humanity made for itself. And the reason why it keeps perpetuating, because we will not forgive ourselves. And we created this construct of karma as a way, it really is a form of punishment for the soul, because the soul is tied to this karmic world to endlessly work it out. And the ascension process, this dimensional shift of the earth to the new earth, in doing so, this karmic debt is to be abolished. And it would not be abolished if it was necessary. So when are we going to give each other a break? When are we going to learn to love each other unconditionally? Because every group, race, whatever it is on this planet is a gift to us. And you, politically, whatever it is, religiously, you've been them. And if you hold a bias or prejudice in your heart now about anything, it's because that is something you haven't dealt with from those other lifetimes. You haven't forgiven yourself. And so now you're acting out against the other person you see who's doing that wrong. And that's why we need, in order to truly heal, we need to be a witness to the journey of others we don't understand or agree with. Hatred on this other side of that hatred is love. It's about you trying to love that side of yourself from whenever that held that hatred. And each and every one of us is one. We're part of oneness. We're all one. We're all the one of many, all many of the one, which makes us all the one. And so when you listen to that other person, you will see their journey, and you might recognize a little bit of your own in it. And that's when you both become mirrors to those facets of yourself that have been in your blind spots. And that's when your wholeness comes more into focus. And when the more that your wholeness comes into focus, the greater your I am presence and that connection with the universe that we talked about at the beginning becomes closer and closer until it's indistinguishable. We're here for integration of all facets of ourselves, to bring it all back into love, free of our criticisms and judgments, bias, prejudice. So grief is the other side of love. And so the lessons that are coming up that you're even, and this is different from your choices, what the things that you choose um while you're walking this journey, you know, your free will. So your free will is free of these sort of destined life lessons, soul lessons that you chose. And as you choose a path that you want out of your free will, out of benevolence and the highest good, then what happens is that these lessons then are interspersed between it during these sessions, these journeys, these paths, because you couldn't forgive yourself and you had to work it out. And so that's why it feels like life is constantly, throwing something at you. Because you chose the stuff that was thrown at you. You just couldn't let it go. You couldn't just surrender and trust that God loves you unconditionally. So you created this. We collectively created the karmic debt, or this mechanism. But it's not necessary. Forgiveness is not what somebody else gives to you or you give to somebody else. It's for you. God doesn't do it, doesn't forgive you because he never stopped loving you. How foolish of concept. It's for you. Utilize it, but go really deep. By deeper than forgiveness, it's just to surrender it. So this week shows some powerful lessons unfolding for you, unfortunately. But it also shows here that you're making choices, decisions in your life that are important to you, that this week is really about focusing, despite those lessons, focus on what gives your soul joy. That act is you saying, I forgive myself. I surrender that because I don't need to work on it anymore. There's nothing to work out between me and somebody else. I just need to surrender to this false self identity that is not just yours, but everybody else's. See, you can heal the entire world if you understood that to surrender is to embrace peace, not just for you, but for everyone else. To surrender is to embrace unconditional love, not just for you, but for everyone else. And those people who have demonstrated enormous healing abilities to heal masses, like Jesus, that's what he was doing. That's why he surrendered himself on that cross, on that symbol of our world's suffering, the concept of karma, really. You might disagree with me, but that's what's coming to me. All right, so let's take a look at the card from the bottom of the deck. And it's the Six of Coins. Oh my God, isn't that just beautiful? Because what this is saying, right after I just said that, about how he sacrificed, and this card is about the giver, giving, giving and receiving. If we can surrender, we would be giving back to the collective of humanity. We'd be giving each other in a tremendous reward of blessings. When we love each other, it's the greatest gift that we could ever offer. Not only to each other, but the planet will benefit because the frequency of the planet will shift, and all the animals, the water, the earth, the environment will be healed instantaneously if each and every one of us surrenders for the greater, wider good of humanity. The card says giving in abundance is living in abundance. Giving in abundance. This kind of sacrifice that Jesus demonstrated was giving in abundance and living in abundance. And this is what we're capable of. All of the great masters learned this, demonstrated this in some capacity or form. And just think about it, surrendering your fears, what it would do. Because look at, and don't shame people or try to avoid them to make them feel ashamed for feeling anxious. But I just want to look at it. Just look at how somebody's fears affects others, or yours affects others. Resign that stuff. Stop exercising it and really sit until you surrender, which means stop trying to manipulate things to go your way. You don't want things to go just your way. You want it to go the way that will benefit you and everyone, because you really want to be a true influencer in this way. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings. This was so powerful. Wow. Have a beautiful, harmonious, blessed week in oneness. Love you unconditionally.